Welcome to another YouTube channel episode. I think we're up to episode 9 right now, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot of you watching and there's a lot of engagement and there's a lot of subscribers coming in such a short space of time, so I hope to keep this channel as engaging and as exciting and sort of diverse, if you like, as I can. Now I realise I'm probably doing this arse end backwards because I'm just going to talk briefly today about who I am, where I come from and where do I see myself going along with my family in the next 10 years. I'm not a native to West Wales, as many of you know. I'm actually from Mid Wales, Newtown and Llanidloes specifically, but we moved to West Wales as a family to join the family farm on my mother's side, my grandparents' side. They were farming on a sort of smaller scale than what I am now, and they were renting land. They didn't own as much ground. They owned about sort of 80 acres in bits and pieces across the countryside here in West Wales. But since I've been involved, we've sort of bought this place, as you all know. I won't go into this again because there's a separate video about this place and why we bought it. But that's sort of where it all started. But let's backtrack a bit more, because some of you may be surprised to hear that I used to be a solicitor. And usually when I tell people that face to face, there's a sort of sharp intake of breath. There's a gasp of breath because they can't sort of believe that that's what I used to do. And yes, I went to Aberystwyth University, made a lot of friends there, messed around a lot really, but had a lot of fun whilst doing my further education. Got my law degree, managed to get onto the LPC, legal practice course in Aberystwyth, met some great people along the way and successfully managed to secure a training contract at my family firm, our family firm, my mother's family firm, with a business partner at that time. So I was very fortunate to have a training contract. They don't come around very often, and you could say that my farming career is very unconventional, because I don't think there's many farmers that used to be solicitors. I know of farmers that used to be bank managers, they used to be in finance, accounting, but not many solicitors. So if there is anyone out there that sort of can empathise where I've come from and the journey that I've done, please let me know in the comments, because it'd be interesting to reach out to you, because there aren't many of us about. And because of this sort of background and early start, people sort of, I would say, underestimate me. I've been called a pen pusher amongst many other things, worse things actually, but I tell you what, I have done a lot of self-taught stuff, in the sense that I've had to teach myself how to do things, because my father, although being a farmer's son, wasn't actually that interested in farming and actually worked in a factory for many years. But I myself am interested in farming, and of course my grandparents weren't that clued up on machinery. They used to just get contractors in, and I wanted to focus more on doing the jobs myself because I felt it was more profitable for us to do that. And of course I've had to learn and make costly, quite expensive mistakes. Being from a non-farming background, I've had to teach myself all the things that I should have been taught by an older generation possibly. However, I have had the benefit of working on other farms, Carwyn Pansgawen, who some of you may know, dairy farmer at the time in Pontchan. He's now moved and expanded his family business down into near St Clair's, but we had a bit of experience there to sort of help me, as well as doing my own stuff at home. So we've yeah, it's been an interesting sort of 12 years, I would say, 10 years anyway. I've always had that enthusiasm and interest in farming, but really, coming from Newtown, a lot of you knew me back then, would say, especially those of you who are in school with me, would say I'm a completely different person now to how I was back then. And that's not because I've changed for any particular reason other than my character, my personality has developed alongside my situation, and I've had to adapt to that. Now I realise I'm waffling on, but I think it's important for me to get this out in the open, because it's not something I've always been proud of talking about. It's it's a bit of a sort of question. It's sort of, the information poses questions. Why did you change? Why did you leave? Why did you leave a good job with good pay money? Can I be honest with you? At the time, the money wasn't brilliant. I loved working for my family firm in Llanidloes. They were lovely on the most part, but then the grass is always greener, and of course the attraction to move down to West Wales to join the family farm was very high, even though there wasn't much to move to because it was a small business. And so I managed to secure a job in an Aberaeron firm. I won't say too much about that, only that they were the most miserable few years of my life, and that's all I'm going to say about that, without sort of pulling anything or anyone down. It's a shame really, because Aberaeron's a lovely seaside town, and at the time it was a bit of a blight for me. I used to avoid going there because it held such bad memories for me in the time that I worked there. But now I don't really give a fuck. I go there and enjoy it just as much as anyone else would. But the reason why I went fully into farming was because, I'll be honest, I could do the legal job. I was a trained and qualified solicitor with quite a number of years experience on my belt, but I wasn't happy doing it. It wasn't me. I didn't feel like it was me. I was going to work with sort of hands that didn't look like solicitors' hands, sort of not dirty, but when you're farming, you're working with machinery, you're working with oil, grease and all sorts of stuff, and it's impossible to get squeaky clean. And I remember at the time feeling very inadequate, going in dressed in my shuffle gilet and a sort of check shirt and some smart trousers. I didn't look like a solicitor, I looked more like a chartered surveyor. So yeah, it really didn't suit me. So I suppose the real reason behind me sort of doing this video is not for me to talk about I am, me. It's more to try and help anyone who's been in a similar situation to what I was in, who may be unhappy in a sort of current lifestyle. You may even be in farming and you're unhappy and you want to get out. I'm telling you, if you're in that situation that I was in, do it. Just make the move, get it done. Similarly, if you want to get into farming but you have no family backing, or you don't have a farm to go to, you don't have to have a farm to be in farming. You can go and work on a farm like I did in the early days. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, some farmers pay extremely well, and I wouldn't let that put you off. If you've got a passion and interest in farming, you can go milking, you can go and work on a beef and sheep unit. There's plenty of opportunities out there. In addition to that, it's a very diverse industry. There's sales options in agriculture, there's advisory, consultancy roles, there's plenty of options. You're not stuck at one thing. So just do it. Just do that leap of faith if you're ever sort of feeling down about it. I really wouldn't hesitate. I wouldn't hesitate, because it's the best thing I ever did. And if ever, you know, I get to that stage where I'm feeling low again, I would make a big change like that again, because mental health is such an under-talked part of our industry. We don't talk about it half enough, and we really should. So yeah, if you're unhappy in your job, do something about it. The only person who can change it is you. And I'm not trying to give off like motivation vibes here right now, but maybe I am, because if it can help someone make a more positive career choice, this video, then so be it. But I am a bit stuck for things to post about this week, admittedly. There's been a lot going on, we've been very busy, and I decided, you know what, sod it, I'm going to talk about my journey to get to where I am. And it may bore the pants off some of you may have long gone by now, but here we are. I've sort of done a bit of a video about it, and laid my cards on the table as to sort of all the background and the lead up to everything I'm at now. Sandy's been very supportive along the journey. Without Sandy, as I said to you previously, none of this would have been possible, especially without my family, who have also been as equally supportive, particularly in those dark times when I was unhappy in my job. My mother is a solicitor as well, or was. She's retired now. And I know it can't have been easy for her, because I followed in her footsteps, and they invested a lot of time and their own money in me as well. And I realised that, and I don't sort of take that for granted. It must have been a bit of a bitter pill for them to swallow, because I know they were very proud of having a son who was a solicitor at the time. But I hope that they're proud of me now doing what I'm doing as well. So yeah, if you're in that position, make that change. I know there's a lot of you out there being in similar positions. Tom Turner, I know, who's reached out to me in the past. He's also started off his agri career in accounting. He was unhappy, but that's his story to tell, not mine. But he's just one example of many of you guys who have been there and done that. So yeah, bit of a different one this week. Yeah. I hope you are all keeping well, and perhaps we'll have a more exciting video on next Thursday. Thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, even though it was a bit of a poor effort this week, make sure you subscribe, like and share. See you later.